Dr. Ramana from Kolkata, we are with you.
Okay, so can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, we can hear you. Carry on.
All right, sure. So good morning, everybody. I'll be talking about social media for dietitians. And if you look at social media usage in India, this is a busy station in Mumbai, and you can see that this is exactly how it's in our country. We are all, so many of us, that today we have around 35 to 40 crores of people using social media. So, one of the most important phenomena in recent times has been the use of social media by the Prime Minister, who has won over his political opponents by using many means, and social media has been one of them. If you look at his opponent for the last elections, Rahul Gandhi had 1/6 the number of tweets that Modi had, and he had 1/5 the number of followers. Doesn't mean to say that if you just do social media, you can get successful. But the fact is, how much of work you put in should also reflect on your social media, and that will probably feed the work and results that you do. So, which part of social media are we talking about? There are so many. If you look at India, Facebook is pretty much where everyone is at. In other countries, they may be on Insta and other forums, but in India, most people are on Facebook. The younger ones have shifted to Insta. Now, WhatsApp is a very, very important medium today, and dietitians are also using WhatsApp today and forming patient groups and sharing communication with them. Now, what really can work in social media? If you look at a recent phenomenon, our friend Mufi posted on Twitter to the External Affairs Minister about his patient, who is now very famous, right? Everyone knows about it. And Mrs. Swaraj, late Mrs. Swaraj, responded to his email, his Twitter feed, and everybody became aware of this patient. And subsequently, many, many things happened, and we all know that. So it created a stunning change in the bariatric landscape in India. So this is an example of what works, something that is innovative and outrageous and something that is disruptive. Do you have some kind of disruptive thinking? This is a great way to use social media. Okay. Now, however, social media also has its downsides, and the same case came back to bite the team who were treating this patient for such a long time. And just as high profile as the success was the backlash, which was also high profile. So it just goes to show that you have to be careful today. While the older mantra for all doctors and to some extent other professionals was publish or perish. You have to publish in a journal, otherwise nobody knows about your work. Today, publication is not that important, at least by perception. The newer mantra is you must post on social media for other people to notice you or notice your work. Otherwise, you don't exist. But the latest mantra, based on people who get offended by what you post, you should be careful about posting. Definitely post, but you must be careful about what you're posting. What doesn't work? So we've seen that outrageous thinking works, but at the same time, some things don't work. People are not interested in your political views or religion on Facebook. Okay, they are not interested in your rants and your negative thinking about what is wrong with the world. And you should not send forth careless messages when you're a professional. People see you as a professional, right? And nutritionists posting, forwarding a message: drink 4 glasses of water in empty stomach, and you will get cure from constipation and cancer. And that kind of nonsense is something you should stay away from. Trust me, forwarding messages doesn't work. Nobody reads and nobody is interested. So how can you post better on social media? Let's look at this. So suppose you're explaining to a lady that she should feed smaller portions to her kid, right? So you could actually just say, feed small portions to the baby. Now, instead of this, if you add a pic, this becomes a better way of sharing the same information. You're actually showing her what she can feed and how much of it looks like an adequate portion in your eyes, in the eyes of a professional dietitian. But suppose you have a movie and that movie actually shows how that egg is chopped and how much of that egg is served. And you're actually using an audiovisual medium rather than just a picture. So you can also use more than just a movie, you can be live. That way they can actually see you do it and they can actually interact with you. So this becomes more interactive rather than just talking down to your audience. Okay. Another thing you must learn to do is to capture the attention of your audience. If your audience is lay people who you want to subscribe to your dietitian's programs or meetings or whatever, try to capture attention. This is a poster. I did not create it, but this is a poster which I have used in the past to capture the attention of surgeons interested in hernia surgery. It's funny, and people immediately identify with it. And I got their attention. So next time I said something, I had a huge number of people waiting to hear from me again. So do you have something like that? Go ahead and use it. Now, you can use social media for your commercial purposes. Okay? So suppose you're a business. Now, this is a hypothetical example of my clinic, and I do bariatric and hernia surgery. I could put up a social media post like this, 75% free or whatever it is. And will it be successful? Well, yes, at least initially it will be. There'll be a bunch of people who would say, okay, I'm ready to do surgery. But how long can I keep doing this? Not long. Very soon, people will realize if they wait long enough, they will get a 75% discount on surgeries and they'll not come up to pay regular prices. So as a business, this kind of social media posts generally tend to backfire. So on the other hand, if I put up a poster or flyer like this on social media, the very get-up of this flyer makes it attractive. So that's a better way. You can build up a patient or referral base based on your social media. Now, if you look at our dear friend Aparna, she is on social media and she has a team of people working with her and they post along with her and it's teamwork. So they feed off each other's strengths and work. Now, this is a good way of reaching out to a larger audience. Okay? Now, Mohit Bhandari is a bariatric surgeon. Everyone knows him. And he has gone off on another level by reaching out to his patients and taking them on along on his fitness journey. So this is another way to connect to people. Yet another way is to use celebrity clients or patients or associations and position yourself as somebody who is that good. So people do take this kind of positioning very well. So if somebody is good enough for the president, he should be good enough for me. So that's how celebrity dietitians also succeed. Now, doing patient support group meetings and sharing the activities with other patients is another good way of getting across and building recognition for your work. Don't be a lone wolf. Become a key member of a team. Your work inside a team should be so strong. Your contributions should be so powerful that your team, starting from the boss down to the lowest level, they should not want to be without you for even a single day. Okay? So your work in that team has to be really strong. And in a bariatric team, the nutritionist should be at the very heart of it. You can make your networks work. Okay? Now, we all are possessed of knowledge. All of us have certain variable levels of knowledge and experience within us. But when we connect, that knowledge and our limited experience becomes a much more comprehensive network, a lattice of knowledge and experience, which works for the greater good. So you have a bariatric nutrition forum. I would totally get into that, post, question, share, teach, all of it. All of it. This is all part of communication, and you should build that network to work for you, and you should be free to work for that network as well. So give so that you can receive. By the way, my name is Ramana, and I am a product of my social network, and I'm associated with several institutions. And if you noticed, my self-introduction came much after I dealt with things which concern you. So this is one way of messaging to you. Put your community, put your patients, put your doctors before you. You come later. You don't necessarily need to come last, but put your interests slightly behind that of others. How can you influence your network? Now, the most important thing on social media is to be likable. This is the number 1 to number 100 thing. You have to be likable. Let me give you an example. So there is an obese patient who reaches out to a dietitian, say her name is Diba, okay? So she says, I need to lose weight, and Diba says, sure, I can help you. Now, what is Diba reflecting? She's reflecting that she's approachable, she's not too busy for the patient, she's responding, she's not saying that, listen, I have too much work, I can't talk to you, all right? And she's listening. Okay, tell me, what's your problem? That's what she's saying. Now, our patient has this not uncommon problem that she's drinking water and she's putting on a kilo every other day, okay? And Diba then says, okay, you know what, I have had this problem before, I've handled this kind of patient before, and she starts getting into a conversation with this patient. So what is she doing? She is showing that she's transparent, she can tell a story that the patient relates to, and that story and her explanations are simple. So there is a level of communication which starts between them. Then the patient comes out. My patient, you know, my cousin died after bariatric surgery and all that. And then she says, okay, don't worry, I'll get you the best, okay? Now, after some time, another day, now Diba says, okay, I have briefed my boss, so don't worry, you can go and meet him, okay? And the patient says, okay, I'm happy you did that for me. So here, what is Diba doing? She's playing as part of a team. She's not battling out on her own and selling her own dietitian magic plan. She's actually playing with passion. She's showing that she can adapt to the patient's limitations within that team. Okay? Now, when you do that, the patient confides more. Okay, listen, I don't have that much money. And then you can say, all right, let me see what I can do for you. All right? So here again, you respond to the patient's limitations, and then what happens is the patient becomes very grateful to you. And when you show that you are possessed of those qualities of simplicity, you can create delight in somebody, you will buy their gratitude. And listen, if you can buy somebody's respect and gratitude, you don't need to market anything at all. 5 things which I want you to do as dietitians, okay? Number 1, get in shape. There are too many out of shape obese dietitians. Don't take this personally, or do, I don't mind. But if you are talking about weight loss, being in shape, getting healthy, you must look the part. You don't need to be figure 0, but at least don't be obese. Put yourself in the patient's position, okay? Now, you must learn how to cook. Otherwise, your dietary plans are going to fall aside. If you don't know how to cook, what kind of meals are you going to advise to your patients? Now, Nigella Lawson is an awesome cook, and she teaches cooking. She's also a role model for many who want to learn cooking, and she also has lost weight. So this is something we can learn of from other people. You must understand more about surgery, more about the clinical problems of patients after bariatric surgery and before. So you must study. Always be a student, all right? Don't think yourself an expert. talk, listen and talk. So I mean, post a pic on Instagram or start a Facebook chat, write a blog, or go into a Twitter chat. Whatever it is, you're showing stuff, and people want to see that stuff, and people must want to see that stuff. So you need to build your base. You need to build your audience. And once you build an audience, you can connect with all of them through various social media platforms. And you must not only talk, you must also listen to them. So this is one of the most important things that I would say. And all of this will build on your Google ratings for yourself as well as your team, your bariatric program. So one of the most important things is not to give theoretical heuristics. Heuristics means teachings. Don't just moralize broadly. Give information the patient can relate to. This is extremely important. Okay? And you have to use social media every day. Okay? Various platforms are available, as I've shown. I use some of these platforms, mostly on Facebook, but you don't need to kill yourself trying to get on social media. Some of the key qualities that I would say one should build in social media is, in order to be effective on social media, is knowledge. Without knowledge, you're nothing. Okay? So you must be able to share your knowledge with others. So people must give you their attention. Attention is money. Attention is currency. Okay? So speak in a way, communicate in a way where patients want to hear you. They want to listen to you and understand what you're trying to say. Ensuring compliance is the Achilles heel of that, that like bariatric surgeons are felled by lack of follow-up, dietitians are felled by lack of compliance, right? So ensure compliance by communicating with them constantly. That way you can track your results. You can coordinate with everybody. Many of you are coordinators in bariatric teams. So coordinate between the boss and the patient and the relative and ancillary services. Discuss your problems with the entire team, as well as discuss the patient's problem with that team, the patient's family. Lastly, definitely get into publications if you can. Encourage your team to record everything, document everything, so that your team can actually publish and become famous for doing that kind of work. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, everything in life is a skill. Everything you do is a skill. So you can be skillfully active on social media, right? Now, as far as day is concerned, there is no ceiling. There is no limit for your growth. You can reach the sky. You can be absolutely far bigger than you can imagine. And offline in life is also important in spite of social media being so critical. If you ever feel like reaching out, asking me something, or telling me how much I suck at giving Zoom talks, feel free. I'm available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramana. That was a round of applause. I'll send you an audio clip on WhatsApp and social media so that you know how to applause here. And I think it was a perfect that we had a social media talk on social media.
I couldn't hear anything you said. Your voice is pretty, fragmented.
I'm recording this, so I'll send you the recording.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So thank you very much, and we look forward to interacting with our friends here at OSCON in February, where we are going to have a special dietary session on obesity, and I'm sure we will look forward to hearing you there as well.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, and bye.
Bye.